I love David Benavidez's attitude to boxing. He wants the fights. He reminds me of Devin Haney. He's about a year older than Devin, I think. Devin's 24. I think he's 25, going on 26. And, you know, uh, he wants the big fights. He wants the big fights. And I can't fault David Benavidez. He's been very honest. He said that, the big fights that they may have are fights that he himself says 50-50 fight. He is not guaranteed to win those fights, but he wants to challenge. He wants to push himself. He wants to test himself. And I think that that's a admirable thing, a beautiful thing. And I hope he gets rewarded for it. I hope that he gets that Canelo fight. You know, he didn't get the Charlo fight. He didn't get the Morrell fight. You know, he hasn't gotten the Plant fight. Again, no fault of Plant because he kind of dropped the ball. He could have that fight could have happened because they were both champions at a certain point in time, so he could have gotten that fight. Um, but ultimately, in the end, you know, he settles for facing whoever. I want to say this to Benavidez. He should push for getting the Lonnie B fight. Let me tell you a number of reasons why I hope that Caleb Plant gets to face Lonnie B. Okay, Lonnie B is an excellent boxer. One, two. Lonnie B is fought at 175. And last but not least, Lonnie B got pop. He got serious power. Okay, so a fighter like that is a fighter you want to face before you face Canelo. Because these are smart fighters, sharpshooters, um, very skilled fighters. You know, Lonnie B's not like them other guys who don't have the experience. He's a very experienced fighter as well. This is a guy who went up against Sergey Kovalev. He sparred guys like Artur Beterbiev and all those guys. Lonnie B is also up in age, so he's the perfect opponent David Benavidez might want to have because David Benavidez throws a lot of combinations, but a lot of his combinations not going to land on Lonnie B. You know, and so it'll make it a tough fight for him where he's fighting a guy with defense. You know, and his performance against Lonnie B would say a lot. Um, so if there's a fight that I think David Benavidez should get, I mean he's now like David said, and like Blue Blood said, I gotta agree with Blue Blood on this one. I don't always agree with Blue Blood, but I agree on him with him on several things now. But it wasn't always that way. But one of the points I will make, which Blue Blood also made, is Canelo saying Devin Benavidez ain't faced nobody, meaning no known names except for Anthony Durrell, the one champion he did face. No, that's a good point, except Blue Blood said, you know, who did Callum Smith face? Who did Callum Smith face? No, freely. Canelo faced Callum Smith. Callum Smith faced one world champion, if I'm not mistaken, which was um it was George Groves, right? Beat George Groves, who was a world champion, to win the WBA title, super title, right? Uh, it's just like Benavidez, and he's tall, he's long, he's rangy, he's powerful, like Benavidez, right? Um, when you look at Caleb Plant, right? Who did Caleb Plant beat? That was that was world champions. Only one guy, Jose Uzcategui. That's it. He didn't beat any other world champions, right? Then, like Blue Blood Sports TV said, Who did Billy Joe Saunders beat? Okay, but Billy Joe Saunders is different because Billy Joe Saunders had a lot of experience on this belt. You know, he had beaten a lot of world class people. Andy Lee, Chris Eubank Jr., uh, Martin Murray. Uh, uh, there's two other names. So he actually beat world champions, um, top tier guys, elite guys, names in boxing. Okay, so in the case of Billy Joe Saunders, you know, Canelo may have a point, but when it comes to his reasoning, Canelo saying, you know, David Benavidez, why would I face David Benavidez? Well, why would you face any young champion? Any young champion today that Canelo's going to face is not going to have this wealth of world champions they've beaten and wealth of experience. Most world champions today are on the come up. You know, Canelo started at a very early age in the pros, so he has, you know, tremendous wealth of experience compared to other contemporaries of his. Right? People say, well, Demetrius Andre, he didn't face a world champion. Okay, he hasn't yet faced a world, but he faced a lot of quality fighters. All right, and Jamal Charlo has faced several world champions, several former and future world champions and present world champions. So he is somebody Canelo doesn't mind facing. Um, so what I'm saying is his excuse of going backwards with David Benavidez. Let me explain another thing that I think Canelo's not thinking about, and this has to do with his legacy. David Benavidez has been a two-time world champion. So maybe he didn't beat a whole bunch of world champions, but he became world champion twice, which shows his pedigree. Just like our Demetrius Andre is a two-time world champion. You gotta look at that. Just like our Jamal Charlo is a two-time world champion. You have to look at those things. That's also another accolade, showing that he's at the top. And the amount of defenses also. Because, you know what? Canelo's talking about Triple G, Triple G, Triple G. Who did Triple G beat? How many world champions did Triple G beat? 5? 6? But yeah, he faced Triple G 3 times in his entire career. Triple G from, you know, damn near 40 now. 6 world champions. Okay? And not many big names. His biggest names are, you know, David Lemieux, Daniel Kiel, Canelo, and Danny Jacobs. That's his biggest names. Right? He ain't got no other names. Well, there's Kell Brook too, but Kell Brook was a small guy. But there's Kell Brook too. 6 names. That's not a lot of names. So if Canelo's going into what world champions he beat, who he beat, well, guess what? He ain't gonna face nobody. Dimitri Bivol faced, you know, a reasonable amount of world champions also himself. You know, Joe Smith Jr. became a future world champion. You got John Pascal. He only faced 2 world champions, as far as I'm concerned. So, I mean, if you're facing younger fighters, they're not going to have this big wealth of world champions that they've faced. It's just what it is. So that's an excuse Canelo's using. Your legacy is also based on the accomplishments of these young champions. And if these young champions have a couple of defenses under their belt, shout out to Boxing Scientist. What's up, my brother? You got a couple, you know, world championship defenses under your belt, and all of these other things, then you should face them. This is also part of your legacy. So I really admire David Benavidez, just like I admire Devin Haney, for calling out everybody out there and trying to make a fight with everybody out there. You know? And Boxing Scientist says Canelo is ducking David Benavidez. Smash that like button if you don't mind. I gotta be honest with you. I don't know if he's ducking David Benavidez in an outright duck, but he ain't got good. He don't got good reasons for not facing him. You know. Now he's on contract with DAZN. He has to complete his contract, so he's going to have to face another DAZN, another DAZN, another DAZN. I'm sorry, I'm sticking right now, but another DAZN, you know, fighter that fights on DAZN, right? So this is why he probably trying to get that rematch with Bivol, then fight some dud, which is again admirable, okay? Because Bivol is a tremendous challenge, and I don't believe that Bivol is going to get beat anytime soon. All right. And again, people get caught up in the power and the strength of fighters. Benavidez is powerful and he's strong, so that means he's going to win. No. And how exciting and how the KOs he gets. That doesn't mean that Benavidez is guaranteed to beat Canelo. And Benavidez acknowledges that. He said, all these fights I'm talking about here, Canelo, Plant, Morrell, Andre, Charlo. He said, all of these fights are 50-50 fights. He said, but I have sparred champions since I've been a child. I'm ready for this. I want to push myself. I want to take the next level. I've been 10 years in boxing. I want the challenges now. I'm ready. I love that. I love how David Benavidez is behaving. Canelo is not behaving like that. And let me say this. I have respect for Canelo. Not everybody has respect for Canelo. People keep on gunning for Canelo. It's a fad to hate on Canelo. I've seen Dante Boxing Nation go in on Canelo. Key Sports TV. They video after video, they're just straight being hypercritical of the guy. I'm not going to do that. What I will tell you is he does not have a case that he's arguing for not facing David Benavidez, right? And we're not going to talk about the Yildirims of the world and the rocky feelings that he's faced. And I know, see, Floyd kind of spoiled the game. Floyd kind of messed up the game in the sense that Floyd faced such high caliber opposition throughout his career that when somebody else comes and has a stay busy fight in between, people criticize him for that. The Yildirim fight, it sees the way how the Yildirim fight came off, right? Yildirim ended up being the guy that Canelo faced as his mandatory for the WBC title instead of facing David Benavidez, who deserved to face him. And yes, okay, David Benavidez lost the belt on the scale, so that's his fault. We get that. But still, the man should have had a chance to get back his belt. He should have been the mandatory for Canelo because he was the number one contender. Yildirim just came off of a loss. These are things the WBC does that leaves us scratching our heads. How's a guy coming off a loss ahead of a guy who, okay, he lost the belt on the scale, but he still won his fight. He won his fight. And on top of that, the guy also, come on now, the guy's the number one guy. Why are you not facing the number one guy? Now, it's not about rating anymore with people in the WBC itself, ladies and gentlemen. David Benavidez is the number one mandatory for Canelo's WBC title. This is what it is right now. It is that. It literally is that. You know what I'm saying? Now, a boxing scientist says Canelo is a duck. Canelo is ducking Benavidez. Right. He also ducked Boo Boo, and Boo Boo's on contract with DAZN. And he also ducked Charlo. Now, let me say something. I'm not going to use the word duck because I want to sort of make sure I say things correctly. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say he ducked Benavidez because he's got Bivol. I mean, you can't duck. See, okay, let me put it this way. You can't really duck a fighter if you're facing the same level of competition or better, right? I can say this. Uh, he don't look like you want to face David Benavidez. He might. He might face him though. He might face him. I think he's gonna face David Benavidez. Well, we'll see. I don't know because here's the thing: if he beats Bivol in the rematch, you know, he's gonna go after Benavidez, and then y'all ain't gonna be able to say nothing because he's gonna go after Beterbiev, and that you remember fighters live for challenges, okay? And maybe Benavidez just he know he probably could beat Benavidez, and he don't feel like he challenging himself. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna say this because Canelo doing some crazy shit, and these guys ain't doing nothing, right? Benavidez ain't facing. Who's he facing? Right? You understand what I'm saying? Charlo ain't facing nobody, and right now Charlo canceled his last fight because he was the guy he was about to face. Come on now. I mean, I'm just saying, right? Caleb Plant's facing Benavidez leftovers. Anthony Durrell. You know, the guys ain't really facing nobody. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, Canelo's going out there and doing some extraordinary shit. I want to be real with y'all. He doing some crazy shit right now, okay? Them guys ain't even thinking about doing that. You ain't seen Charlo move up in weight. You ain't seen him go to 168 and take on David Benavidez. He's not doing that. I'm just saying. Right? But Canelo jumping up to 175 and taking on guys. Okay? So I'm not going to knock Canelo because I respect the sport of boxing like that. Now, did he avoid facing Demetrius Andre? Absolutely. Did he avoid facing? No. Let me put it this way. I'm gonna say it the right way because I'm still saying it the wrong way. You gotta say it in a sort of factual way. Did Canelo have an opportunity to face Demetrius Andre, but did not take it? Yes. At 160. Did Canelo call Demetrius Andre boring? He's a boring fighter. Yes. I'm only going to speak facts. That way you can't say that I didn't say the correct thing. Did Canelo Alvarez's own mouth say, I am not going to face him because he's a boring fighter? Isn't that what he said? He said something like that, words to that effect. Then he told Demetrius Andre, get the F out of here, when Demetrius Andre asked to face him in a fight and was very respectful. Because he said, you face nobody. Right? And he was very disrespectful, showing that he did not want to face Demetrius Andre. Facts, right? I only said facts, so nobody can turn on me and say, oh, well, you're anti-Canelo. No, I just hit you all with facts. Right? He said Charlo had a lot of respect for Charlo. He said he's a very good fighter. They were doing negotiations for him to face Charlo and to face David Benavidez. Instead, Canelo took the zone package with Bivol and Triple G. And in a third fight, he has to fight. Bivol came and beat his ass. Because I said it, all of us said, not all of us, I said, he's picking a fight he ain't going to win. And I predicted Bivol was going to win from the get-go. And it has to do with Bivol's style. It has nothing to do with his size. This is his style, how he moves. And his IQ, okay? And Bivol beat him like how Floyd beat his ass. Clean, right? And I said, I agree with Floyd and everybody that Canelo effectively is the same fighter. He's effectively the same fighter. He got a lot of wrinkles and nuances, and he's got a lot of experience, and he's smarter, because he has more experience, but he's effectively the same fighter, right? Oscar De La Hoya came out and said, Canelo don't move his feet enough. He had flat feet, which he doesn't really have flat feet. He's actually quite nimble. The problem with Canelo, and I've isolated it, and I will say it again, and I can see he's working on it, but he still has a lot of work to do. It's his foot cardio. He cannot consistently move his feet, and it's particularly at a high pace. You set a high pace, a high tempo, you have quick, light feet, you give him all kinds of problems. We saw it against Caleb Plant versus him. We saw Caleb Plant giving him all kinds of problems, right? Because Caleb Plant has light, quick feet. This is why Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez is actually a very intriguing fight. Because David Benavidez in no way, shape, or form is a better fighter than Canelo Alvarez. He throws a lot of combinations. He's very exciting. He's blitzing guys who, are not on his level. He did not blitz Ronald Garville. Let's not forget that. And we can argue Ronald Garville beat him in the first fight when he dropped his ass, right? Because the fight was close. But nonetheless, what I'm saying is that David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant is a very intriguing fight because Caleb Plant can box his ass off. And I'm saying Caleb Plant, and I had Caleb Plant ahead of Canelo in that fight. Canelo was very frustrated in that fight before Canelo stopped him in the 11th round. And the reason, I'm going to say it again, because Caleb Plant can box his ass off. That boy can box. The reason Caleb Plant lost that fight is because he did not know what to do when he got dropped. He just popped back up. He should have stayed down, took a knee, gathered himself, and then got up. He just popped up like a lollipop and he drifted across the thing because his head was still spinning, right? So take a page out of a guy like Timothy Bradley. Take a page out of Erislandy Lara and learn how to fight. You can't fight when you were still spinning, and that's why Canelo finished him, because he was still spinning, right? So Caleb Plant was, in my opinion, and in Sky Sports' opinion, was winning that fight. He was ahead. Okay? Anyways, back to what I was saying. So, my point is, David Benavidez, I love his attitude. There are two guys in boxing right now I love because they're coming at everybody. They want everybody. And when they become the top of the line, like Devin Haney is, they're waiting for anybody. They take on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Right now, Devin Haney's going to a rematch with Kambosos, and he's willing to go back down to Australia again a second time and take him on. You know what I mean? That's what we like about fighters. We like fighters with heart. Okay, Devin Haney don't stop everybody every time, but the attitude is what we need. That's a winning attitude. That's a mentality. If I get the opportunity, man, I'm gonna make the most of it. That's what Benavidez is saying. He's hungry for that. I love it. I love it. He ain't want to duck or dodge nobody. He going for it. He wanted to smoke. I love that. Okay? And so, whereas Canelo, he's at the top. He's been at the top. He used to be hungry. He used to want to smoke. He wanted to face the best. And now, as he's at the top, he's trying to maintain himself, right? So he's trying to find the most lucrative and also the best fights, right? So he's now, and we see it over and over. We see with Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. We see it with Jerome Ennis coming on the up and up. And now, once you reach the top, you got to stay hungry. But of course, you want the best, most quality fights. You want the best possible fight you can have for your legacy. That's what Canelo's be thinking all the time. And again, I'm gonna say this: how can you say that? And this is the problem with these arguments about Canelo ducking Benavidez or ducking this guy or ducking that guy. Here's the thing: if he's ducking a dude, right, he gonna face a guy who's less challenging, and in no way, shape, or form we can say that Dimitri Bivol is an inferior fighter and is not on the level of a David Benavidez or a Charlo or Andre. You can't say that. You can't. And the proof's in the pudding. We saw how he actually showed he was levels above Canelo. The way how he beat Canelo. Okay? The way how this dude beat Canelo. There was no doubt in anybody's mind that he beat him. And two, he separated himself from him. He showed I'm a whole other level above you, brother. I'm a whole other level. So you can't, especially now, you can't say that, oh, Canelo's ducking David Benavidez. You can't say that because he faced Bivol. People saying he underestimated Bivol. He didn't underestimate Bivol. He knew Bivol was a tough fighter, and he said it over and over again. He just had the confidence and belief that he could beat Bivol. He really believed he could beat him. But you can't beat a fighter who's got light feet and has cardio like crazy and can maintain that movement for 12 rounds. So when Canelo started to fade, Bivol that's why he started beating his ass up coming down the stretch in the later rounds, because Bivol was fresh. Bivol's fresh, and his feet, his feet, man. Your feet, everything's your feet. People talk about it. His feet. His footwork was just on point, and he was quick. He was light on his feet. Canelo was heavier on his feet, which is why he started staying in the corner and trying to bait Bivol in, and Bivol Bivol would take the bait when he saw the opportunity to take the bait. He almost looked like Floyd up in there when Canelo went to the ropes, and Floyd started pecking at him, and then started landing those uppercuts on him, and those right hooks on him, with that jab, peppering him with the jab, and then bam, bam. That's what Bivol was doing, because he was maintaining range. He was staying still, outside of him, and then he would come in and off the jab he would pop him with shots. He started picking him apart. And Canelo got that D. He got that D. But he's the smart fighter is picking him apart because from range he's tricking him. He's outsmarting him. And blinding him and all that with the jab. Because it's not just about popping a jab. You see, Benavidez and all these guys think it's a good jab is a strong. No, it's not about a strong jab. It's about how you throw the jab, the rhythm of the jab, the timing of the jab, the type of jab to peck away at different angles to get the person in the position you want him to get. You can use the jab to get a guy in the position you want him to get. Set him up with the trap set with the jab. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do with the jab. You know what I mean? And these guys, they're one dimensional. They think it's about a strong jab. Triple G got a strong jab. What's his name? Cotto had a strong jab. A lot of guys had strong jabs, man. A lot of guys had strong jabs. Strong jab ain't enough. You have to be able to vary the jab. And vary all kinds of things about the jab. That's why I said Vladimir Klitschko. You got to watch Vladimir Klitschko probing jabs, blinding jabs, up jabs, spear jabs, power jabs, down jabs. You know what I'm saying? They all kinds of jabs, y'all. And the footwork with it. You got to have the footwork with it. It's about the jab. You got to know how to use it, when to use it, what you're using it for. All of these things. See, so but Canelo also he has a different selection of jabs. But it's like I said before, Canelo's a very skilled fighter. The problem with Canelo is his cardio. And against Triple G, he had superior cardio, but again he slowed down the fight to the pace he wanted to have it at. Right? He controlled the pace of the fight, and he restricted Triple G to few punches because Triple G never found the range. Canelo never allowed him to have the range. I'm gonna say something about Canelo because y'all really don't know what y'all watching. Obviously, I don't understand why, but Canelo fought Triple G in 3 fights in 3 separate ranges. Let me say it again, because I think a lot of y'all don't understand what Canelo does. He always throws wrinkles in his game. He always does something different every single fight. Y'all have no idea how good this guy is. So the first fight, Canelo was fighting Triple G on the back foot. All right. But he was fighting him at mid-range. So Triple G, and he would make sure it was mid-range. Why? In the pocket, that is. Because he would allow Triple G to touch his forehead with the jab. Canelo would stick his head out there and let Triple G just touch the forehead, so Triple G always knows, okay, he in range. This is the way for Canelo to get Triple G to engage so he can counterpunch Triple G. Make him miss, make him pay. That was the first fight. The second fight, Canelo fought Triple G on the outside or deep in the pocket. He was not allowing Triple G to operate at mid-range. All right? The third fight, Canelo walked down Triple G off the stick, bobbing and weaving, fighting him from the outside. So Triple G could never engage him. So Canelo's fighting on the outside of Triple G's reach, sliding in off the jab, off an angle to land those shots. And sometimes he come in with a leaping left hook off the angle. I can't tell y'all how brilliant this guy is. How he even inches in. So he inches in. You saw Shakur Stevenson do the same thing. He's inching in, but he's inching in with all his weight on his back foot. So his front foot is inching in. He's stealing ground. So that's how he does it. And he got to watch his feet, right? You can see when they're far away because you will see their feet are apart from each other, right? So you see how far on the outside Canelo actually is. But because he's leaning in, he looks closer than he is. And then he inches in by leaning back onto his back foot and stealing ground, inching in off an angle. He's not coming in straight at you. He's coming in off an angle on you. He's circling, coming in off an angle. I can't tell y'all how brilliant this guy is. So when y'all say, oh, anybody could beat Canelo, he's an average fighter, I laugh. Because y'all don't understand the wrinkles to the game. Right? And y'all don't understand the wrinkle that Triple G did in there. Triple G realized what Canelo was doing. He started emulating what Canelo was doing. He literally adapted to Canelo by, in the later rounds, he started inching in off his jab as well. But he's not just inching in off his jab. He double, triple the jab and throw combinations behind the jab. 3, 4, 5 punch combinations. He knew something would land. And he would slide in to smother Canelo so Canelo couldn't throw no more inside shots. That's the kind of thing that was going on. Y'all don't understand. It's chess, not checkers. Okay? Now, it took Triple G a while to adapt to Canelo. That's why he wasn't throwing nothing. Y'all don't even understand. Y'all don't understand what it is. You got to be in range to throw. What you going to do? Throw out air? And then Canelo just be taking the opportunity and just picking them apart? Come on, man. Y'all need to understand what the sport of boxing. B-Vol got that footwork. That's why I said the guy that gives Canelo problems is not Benavidez. Canelo fight Mexican style all the time. He bang. Canelo can bang. That ain't going to give him no problems. It could be an exciting fight. That's why we need to see it. But Canelo going to come out the victor in that fight. Okay? It's not about how strong you are. Canelo don't have to knock you out to beat you. He doesn't have to knock you out to beat you. He's that good. Now, think about it. He's like Floyd. He's a bigger Floyd. I keep on telling y'all that, but y'all don't listen to me. That's why he's getting all that hate, too. But here's the thing. Canelo versus Demetrius Andrade is a problem because Canelo versus Charlo could be a good fight. It depends. Charlo's big. He's strong. He's fast. He's explosive. You know, he showed he can handle some inside game against something Adams. But when it comes to the guy who I think gives him problems. Worse than Caleb Plant gave him problems. You know, Billy Joe Saunders started lighting it up and started doing something in the middle rounds where he should have done that from the get-go. Is Demetrius Andrade. All right? Now, Demetrius Andrade, from where I look, he didn't look in shape when I last saw him, but Demetrius Andrade is the dude. That's the guy. That's why Canelo call him boring. That's the guy that Canelo ain't looking forward to at all facing. He don't mind David Benavidez. You know, I'm sure. You know, big, strong, that don't mean nothing. Canelo always face big, strong fighters. That ain't nothing new. But when it comes to, and he talked about facing BWF, so who's Benavidez? He's not stronger than BWF. You know what I'm saying? Beterbiev. So I'm just saying, Canelo's fought 175 pounders. So Benavidez being a big 168 pounder, what I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that Benavidez brings that kind of. He brings a certain challenge to Canelo, but he don't bring that challenge, I think, to Canelo. Me, thank you. I know Benavidez does a lot of things. He throws a lot of punches. You know, he's a busy fighter for a big fighter. He has a decent jab. You know, he's polishing up his inside game and his middle range game. You're seeing evolution. You're seeing the guy's going to turn into a beast. But his feet, your footwork, Benavidez, you gotta do more. You gotta work those feet, bro. Them feet's like planks. I know you can. You got a kind of cat-like agility going back and forwards, but you really got planks though. You plant too much with your feet, so you're gonna be in one sphere. You're gonna be over here. and Canelo gonna be over there, and Canelo be tagging your ass up because you can't keep up with him because he's gonna be circling you, gonna be doing all kinds of shit. You're not gonna be able to keep up with him because he's gonna be quicker than you for sure. You got quicker hands, but you ain't got quicker feet. And you saw Canelo going in and out on Gennady Golovkin, in and out, in and out, in and out. He was in and out on Gennady Golovkin while pushing him back. And you, dude, dude, y'all have to figure out what I'm saying here. You gotta admire boxing, man. This is boxing, y'all. Canelo, man, y'all have no idea. Like I said, it's just his foot cardio. Because he got the tools to beat Bevo, but he has to have the vehicle to carry those tools to where he needs to go. He gotta be light on those feet, boy. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He gotta have those light feet, and then he's gonna give Bevo all kinds of problems. Because he's gonna be able to cut all kinds of different angles on him. So it's footwork, foot cardio is his thing. But and Bevo's a hell of a fighter. But what I'm saying to you is, Demetrius Andre. That's a guy who has quick, agile feet and can change it up, adapt. That's a guy that I think gives Canelo all kinds of problems. He's not a knockout artist. He knocks down guys and stuff, because of his speed, his quickness, and then the angles at which he comes with some unbelievable shots, right? But and that's a fight I would love to see. I would love to see that. I really would love to see Demetrius Andre versus Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo need to stop with who you face. The man's a two-time world champion. Don't ask me no stupid question like what champion did you face and beat. Nobody cares. He's a two-time world champion. He's currently a champion right now. He could have been a three-time world champion if he had just taken on the Parker fight. Here's what it is. So Demetrius Andre, two-time world champion. David Benavidez, two-time world champion. Caleb Plant's a one-time world champion. David Benavidez, two-time world champion. Jamal Charlo, two-time world champion. Come on now. We've been facing Triple G, who's a two-time world champion as well. Come on, well, nah. He's much more than that. But you faced Triple G because, he was champion. So let's get it going. Let's get it popping. Stop the bullshit. Canelo, we want to see you against the young, strong champions out there. Of which David Benavidez, though he's not right now a young, strong champion, he is the rightful person, the mandatory for your WBC title. So yeah, go do your Bevo rematch. Hopefully you win. Hopefully you beat him. If you're working on foot cardio, you're gonna beat him. If you're not, well, you're gonna lose again, right? The Canelo I saw face Triple G, I still think he loses to Bevo. Until you show me you could go at a high pace with those feet, But you looked really good against Triple G. I'm not gonna lie, you looked very good against Triple G. You didn't pull the trigger and then get him out of there, but you looked good. You looked sharp all the way to the end. So we'll see. So basically, I love David Benavidez. It's 38 minutes, 39 minutes. I love David Benavidez. I'm gonna tell y'all something about boxing. The boxer who loves all challenges and stays that way throughout his career, hungry. Now Floyd again. People criticize Floyd because he always kept on facing certain fighters. They were again high pedigree guys. If you're gonna say Canelo been ducking fighters, then you gotta say Floyd been ducking fighters. You can't. No. With Canelo, I get why y'all say that because he literally said he don't want to face Demetrius Andre. He literally said that basically because you're a boring fighter. He literally said that. All right. Then he came up with another excuse that he didn't face anybody. But you got world champions, man, and of course they're gonna come for you. Of course, David Benavidez is supposed to call your ass out. He's supposed to call you out. You the undisputed champion. You supposed to be taking on all comers at 168. Know what I mean? So David Benavidez is well within his rights to call you out. He put himself in a position to call you out. I cannot trash David Benavidez for that. I can't. And I want to see David Benavidez versus Canelo. Absolutely. Do I want to see Canelo versus Demetrius Andrade? Absolutely. Do I want to see Canelo versus Jamal Charlo? Absolutely. The fans want it. And let me say something. Those fights are big fights. They're going to make money. Actually going to be bigger fights than Canelo versus Triple G. Because it's fresh, young fighters, undefeated fighters, 3 undefeated fighters. And they're calling you out. 2 of them, all of them were world champions. And all of them, 2 of them are currently still world champions at 160. The same division that Gennady Golovkin was a world champion in and came up in weight and faced you. They're all big fights. Canelo has 3 big fights. The Bivol fight, even the rematch, it's going to be big. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be big because, Bivol beat him once. So it's going to be a big rematch. But what I'm saying is, Canelo has choices, right? But I'm saying is that Canelo versus Zurdo Ramirez would be a tremendous fight because Zurdo's undefeated world champion. Hopefully, I don't know how he's going to do against Bivol. I think Bivol beats him. But the point is, Zurdo, is a tremendous fighter, right? You might lose to Zurdo against Bivol, unfortunately, for him. But it is what it is. My point anyway is, when you look at the selection of fighters that Canelo has to face, Artur Beterbiev would be a great fight. Great fight. That's when goes out Canelo's forte. But David Benavidez, that fight need to happen. It needs to happen at 168 if possible, because that's Canelo's comfortable weight. 168. He got used to 168. You know what I mean? He dominated it. Right? Clean out almost the entire division. Only one guy left that you gotta pick apart, and that's David Benavidez. So, I want to see it. Of course I want to see that fight. Are you kidding me? Of course I want to see that fight. I'm not making no excuses that Canelo's making for that fight not happening. I want to see that fight. I don't want that fight marinate and all that. No, this is the time. The time is now. Get it. And clean it out. Clean out 168. You're gonna got one more guy. That's David Benavidez. You clean out the division. Right? So you had Triple G as your first defense, who was not a 168 pounder. But it made sense because it was a big fight, and he had a contract with DAZN. He had 3-fight deal, so he had to do his 3-fight deal. Maybe they can negotiate for a pause in that 3-fight deal, and then he come back from his wrist injury and take on David Benavidez, then come back and face Dimitri Bivol. Because I know David Benavidez is going to be an exciting fight. This is going to be fireworks, and we know Canelo very well could win that fight. That's a fighter with a fighting style that suits Canelo. It just totally suits him. All right, and what he does. Right? So, I'm just saying that a David Benavidez fight next. Canelo will take a little time off, a couple months, make sure the hand is okay, and come back. Don't take too long because you don't want to be out the game too long. And you don't want your name disappear too long. But you take care of that wrist injury and then you come back and you take on David Benavidez. Be like, the fans want me to face David Benavidez? I'm going to defend my mandatory first. And then DAZN, I'm going to complete your contract with you. You know what I'm saying? And he comes back, goes up to Bivol. Because, again, David Benavidez. Let me say something about David Benavidez. David Benavidez is a tremendous, mentally set individual. For Canelo to beat David Benavidez, right? Y'all know y'all can't trust David Benavidez. Y'all gonna have to respect Canelo. Because if you beat David Benavidez, which is the best 168 pounder, what did that say about Charlo? What did that say about Andre? What did that say? Right? All of a sudden, Y'all gonna still ask for Charlo and Andre. I know the haters gonna still hate. He goes, oh, he does black fighters, blah blah blah. But he beat David Benavidez though. He beat David Benavidez. You know what I mean? You know, Charlo and Andre need to get themselves in position. Canelo's not coming down to 160. He's not facing nobody at 160. He ain't having no catch weights. So if y'all really serious about it, y'all would jump up to 168, then y'all would jump up to 175 if you really want that fight. But they're not willing to take those risks. They're not willing to do those things. You know what I mean? So that's on them. You know what I mean? But David Benavidez, that's definitely a fight that can happen. At 168 or at 175. Okay. And make no mistake, don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. Canelo ain't no chump. And he ain't no weakling. You know. And he already proved himself. He been taking on the big challenges. You know, he stepped up and faced Gennady Golovkin when he wasn't even a middleweight. You know. He took on Floyd Mayweather. He took on Austin Trout. He took on Erisland Lara. These are guys he took on. If y'all don't know, Canelo will take on the big fights. That's the Canelo we know. Does he want to face David Benavidez? Probably not. For whatever reason. Maybe he knows his reputation or whatever. So maybe that's not a fight he's hot on. Because, you know, it's still, to him, the risk is not worth the reward. But I'm telling you right now, the risk is worth the reward. Because that fight would be a huge fight. Huge. Huge fight. And, of course, it'd be on Showtime. You know, his biggest fight to date that he's recently had was with Caleb Plant. It was a bigger fight than the Bivol fight. You know what I mean? So the Benavidez fight will be huge. Charlo fight will be big. It will be a mega fight. You know, those are big fights. Charlo. Andre, not so much a big fight, but it would be an interesting fight. And because it's so interesting, people will buy it. Especially if they hype up Andre. So those three fights right there are money-making fights. Money-making fights. And Canelo's, you know, Canelo's the cash cow of boxing right now. In terms of active fighters. So, you know. I mean, and then of course, a Bivol rematch, that makes money as well. So, I mean, Canelo's going to be making money regardless. You know, he's going to be making money regardless. But at the end of the day, you know, you want to give the fans excitement. Do a Benavidez fight. Benavidez going to give you excitement. Charlo going to give you excitement. You know, Andre could give you excitement. Andre is explosive, very quick, fast, sharp fighter. He could. I expect it to be more of a tactical fight, and we'll see how Andre will do against Canelo. He, you know, experience is a major key, and Canelo will have the experience advantage over him. But you know, he has the tools, that footwork, and that rhythm, and you know that. I mean, would give anybody problems. The question is, would he be able to rise to the occasion, the big occasion, and show that what he really could do? You know, these are all big intangible questions. But Canelo should take him on. Canelo should take on anybody and everybody. You know, because I know this dude, the dude I knew, took on people. He took on people that we wanted him to see him take on. So I'm hoping that he will do that. You know, there's a lot of hate to the guy, so that's why he kind of answers the press a certain way and behaves a certain way. It's because he's kind of mad because all the accomplishments he's done, how much he's proven himself. What are you guys second guessing me for? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, face the guys. Face the guys that we wanted to see you face. You know, Benavidez is in position, man. And he's going to be in position in 175 anyway, but I said take him now. Take him now while he's young. You know, do the Floyd thing. Take him while you can get him. Get him now. This is the time to get Benavidez. Get him now. You know, you got Charlo, you got Andre. They not in your weight class. Take them now. You know, and revisit the Bevo fight because you got them guys under your belt. You beat those guys. If you beat Andre, you're beating Bevo. If you beat Andre, you're beating Bevo. Period. Because you would have the tools to keep up with Andre, foot wise. It's not just about cutting off the ring. It's also about uh, being able to keep up with the tempo, the speed, the activity of Andre. Andre's super quick. You know. So if you beat Andre, you're gonna beat Bevo. Period. All right. Andre brings a lot more tools to the table than Bevo does. Not as sharp, uh, but he brings a lot of tools to the table. Bevo's much more, I think, solid. So that's what I got for y'all. But Benavidez, man, I like him. I hope he gets to fight with Canelo soon. You know, I hope Canelo doesn't stay out of boxing too long. He needs to get his hands fixed and get back in there. You know what I mean? Because nobody's getting younger. He's a veteran. Obviously, he's going to have more injuries and stuff because he's a veteran of the sport. He's been fighting. He has a lot of fights under his belt. That's another thing. He has a lot of fights under his belt. So, you know, Canelo taking on everybody is what, like Julio Cesar Chavez took on everybody, right? Ultimately, in the end, he took on all the guys that he was supposed to face. There's nobody he did not face. For a while, he didn't face Pernell Whitaker, but then he faced him. You know what I mean? So, I think that Canelo's going to do the same thing. He's come from the same cloth. He come from Mexico. He's going to take on everybody. And I'm hoping that he don't disappoint me and he takes on Benavidez soon, if not next, you know, um, before the Bevo fight. Because I'm saying right now, as it is, I don't think he beats Bevo right now. He's still not ready for him. Um, Bevo and Andre are fighters that are quite difficult for him until he gets that foot speed to keep up with them. When he can keep up with them for 12 rounds, now we got to fight. Because he can deliver all those different little nuances, feints, and setups that he has. But you got to be able to keep up with him, be a step ahead of him, stuff like that. So yeah, Canelo, man, is something. I always said it. He's something. I don't care what nobody say. He's something. Uh, uh, was he overhyped a bit? For a while, yeah. You're talking about he could beat Floyd and stuff. I'd be laughing. I'm like, but you couldn't even beat Bevo, bro. How you gonna beat Floyd? You know what I'm saying? You couldn't even beat. Floyd was standing right in front of you, bro. He was fighting you in the pocket. All he was doing was those micro steps. He was just pivoting around you. But again, he got light feet, so he was able to pivot around him. You know what I'm saying? Floyd wasn't even doing what Bevo was doing. Bevo had to keep a respectable distance. Floyd was right in the pocket with you. And outboxing you. And beating you to the punch. Come on, man. See, this is the thing. People don't really respect these boxers. Floyd's a guy that gets a lot of hate. Floyd's just so crazy, man. Dude just, on another stratosphere. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to boxing. I have so much respect for that guy. And Devin Haney, he's coming along. The young fighters, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, you gotta watch out for them guys. And again, another special one was Demetrius Andrade. Even though, again, Demetrius Andrade is not as. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Yeah, Demetrius Andrade is not as adept as Floyd Mayweather or even the Erislandy Lara, but he brings a lot of arsenal tools to the table. He's a smart fighter. And he's very athletic as well, so yeah. But that's what I got for you guys, man. I like my boy David Benavidez's approach to things. Win, lose, or draw, I just want to experience. I want to gain some knowledge so I can be better. That's what he's basically saying. And I really feel him on that. He's a good fighter. He's a really good fighter. So I'm looking forward to him getting those big fights. especially the Caleb Plant fight. At least she's looking forward to so much. So we'll see. That's a tricky fight, though. You know, Benavidez thinks he's gonna stop Caleb Plant. We'll see. I don't know, but I'd love to see that fight. That's a 50-50 fight. I'm gonna catch you guys later. I am what you need. Before I go, I should read a piece of scripture, and also don't forget to check out my PayPal. You can donate via PayPal. I know I haven't put up the link. I haven't put up the link, so that's my fault. But uh, ZS in the building. What's up, ZS? I think you'd beat Floyd Mayweather. Me? Are you kidding, dude? Please, no. Please, no. No. Now you're being stupid. You being funny. You being funny. You making jokes. Beat Floyd Mayweather? You stupid. Are you kidding me? No, man. Of course not. Can't beat Floyd Mayweather. How am I beat? I can't. I haven't even had a pro fight. I'm gonna step up there and beat Floyd. Okay, so all right, I could beat Floyd Mayweather. No, I'm not kidding. You crazy, man? Y'all crazy, man. I can't beat Floyd Mayweather. Uh, could I devise a plan that possibly could beat him? Probably. But to say I'm going in that ring and get my ass beat, are you kidding me? I'm gonna get my ass beat. That's what I'm gonna get. All right. Yo, I was supposed to leave a piece of scripture with you guys. I'm gonna line it up like this, right? Uh, yo, I'm gonna read from. I'm only reading one verse, so y'all, it's not a whole bunch of stuff, but I need to read something. Yo, this is near and dear to my heart. I actually read this on another channel, so I'm gonna read this here. All right, it goes like this. It's real short. You can check it out for those of you who may read Bible. It's First Timothy. That's there are two books, two letters to Timothy from Paul. This is the first letter to Timothy, right? So First Timothy, it's the first chapter of it. It's divided into chapters. Chapter 1, and it's in between verse 3 and 4. It goes like this: I want you to charge others within your group that they teach no other doctrine, nor give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which bring about questions, rather than godly building of other people and oneself in the faith. All right, let me say it again. I want you to charge some that they teach no other doctrine, nor give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which some brings about more questions rather than edifying others in the faith. So do. All right? So, what is that about? Well, a lot of times people try to be intellectual too much and cognitive. You know, one of the things about boxing's not about really intellectualism, or shall we say academia. You know, while people may be nerds of the sport of boxing in terms of history and stuff, that's not boxing. Boxing's a doing thing. And the Apostle Paul, similarly speaking to Timothy, he's telling him, man, the gospel is a doing thing. It's not about how you talk the gospel, it's about how you live it. And he's saying, don't get tied up in all these tantalizing fables out there, imaginations of other people's minds. And they like to talk about genealogies. The Jewish people, they want to show lineage and genealogies. And it goes on to say, because those things do not edify people. Instead, focus on the pureness of the gospel so that people's faith in God will be strengthened. So that's basically what he was saying. I hope you guys have a good day. It's always about truth. It's always about edifying other people if I can here on this channel. Don't forget you can use PayPal. I know I keep on saying that, and I don't drop the PayPal link, but I'm still gonna say it to prep your guys so when I do drop the PayPal link, y'all can donate to my PayPal. All right? I'm gonna get to it. It's gonna be in the comment section, hopefully. I'm gonna retroactively put the PayPal link into all the comment sections. But as of now, as boxing's kind of heating up and stuff, and I know you guys, you have your different times when you were out during the day, so I caught you guys at this hour. Some of you guys go back and watch my videos later on. I know I realize my videos go all over the place. Sometimes I come back, I had no views the first time, and when I come back, it's like 200 and something views or 300 and something views. I'm like, what? Or sometimes 1,000 views. And I'm like, what? Because I don't be paying attention to my videos. So I know people come in and watch my videos after the fact. And so in real time, I might be streaming real time. But people come back and check out my videos. And some really reputable people, in the business and in boxing themselves actually come back and check my videos, which, again, much love to you guys. Sometimes you guys leave comments. Sometimes you guys message me privately. And again, much love to you guys. So if you guys want to donate to this channel, y'all realize I'm saying things that make sense. I know I'm not a boxing coach. Don't ask me to be a boxing coach. I'm not qualified for that. Is your boy still trying to get there and do the boxing thing and go and have a pro debut? Yes, I am. I'm still working at it. It takes time. Y'all gotta understand. Lots of things go on in my life. I do a lot of different things besides just boxing. It's just one aspect of my life, and I'm a very busy guy usually during the day. I do commerce business. I buy and sell things. I sell water. I farm. So I do a lot of different things while I'm going through my day, right? So most of the food I eat now is actually coming from my garden. So I don't really go out and buy things in the store when it comes to food. I actually grow my own food, which is something I will show you guys another time. But I want to just let you guys know, if you have little containers in your house, fill them with soil. Of course, you could do hydroponics. I'm not doing hydroponics. You can grow plants. I'm going to say this for everybody out there, to get smart. Try to produce from, say, the marketplace or wherever you know your provision place, or your place where you get your vegetables, whether it's the supermarket or you go to the fair or whatever you call it. I can't remember what you call it. Buy stuff with seeds in them. Take the seeds out of the plant, of the food. Do not throw away your seeds. Take your seeds and throw it into a pot. All your parsley, your celery, all those things. Take your celery, stick it in the ground. If there's no roots on it, just go in your pineapple. Eat the pineapple. Keep the top. Stick it in a container. You can do it in your kitchen. You could do it in a special room in your house. You have to take the plants out every now and then and drain them. But you can actually, whether you live in a suburban area, a city area, an apartment, whatever you live, you can grow plants. I'm going to give you all one more tip. Nowadays, there's LED lighting. So you can emulate daylight or sunlight by getting the LED daylight lights. Get that, and put your plants in a room. Now you're going to have to take the plants out to drain them. So make sure they have you have a container. You bore some holes in the base of it, and you have a little plate that the container could be on. Again, The containers can simply be like your milk cartoons. You cut the top of the milk cartoon and then you fill it up with soil. Where do you get your soil from? Right outside your house. You can use cheap things like Epsom salts to provide nutrients into the soil, and then for the nitrogen, the nitrogen, you can use your food that you have leftover food. You take it, you put it in the soil, and you cover it over. Okay, so you don't have to go and buy all these expensive fertilizers and all of that stuff. Okay, and you can start farming today. Let me tell you some of the things you can use and that can grow in your house. So you have celery, chive, you have onions, you have um, ginger. You can grow indoors. You have parsley. You have lettuce, cabbage. Uh, you have to get the lettuce and cabbage seeds, obviously, or the seedlings. You can go to wherever your farmer's market or whatever and get seedlings. Um, you have tomato. You can grow tomatoes in your house. They're much bigger. They grow pretty tall. Um, so you may want to have that on the side of your house. If you're in an apartment, you can put it on the windowsill of your apartment. You can grow your tomatoes. They get pretty big though. So when you plant them is also important. So you can have really big tomato trees at a certain moon. So what I would suggest you guys get is a McDonald's calendar. That's what planters have. Get a McDonald's calendar, and I'll tell you what moon. So when you plant, the most appropriate time for planting. If you want your plants to be short, then you want to do it after the full moon if the plants are coming from above ground. For things that grow into the ground, like say for instance ginger, for instance onions, sweet potatoes, and so on, what you want to do with that is you want to plant the plants after the moon for them to grow big. Not the plants, but under the ground plants to grow big. Your cassavas, you know, your other provision. Now, let me say something. With respect to things like ginger or things that grow under the ground, like sweet potatoes. Oh, let me say something. You want to also plant plants that are not vines, so they're not running all over the place, right? So if you can get string bean seeds, there's something called black eyed peas that'll give you Bodhi, but Bodhi grows as a vine. However, the vine doesn't have to be out of control if you can get a stick and stick it into the pot or whatever you have. You can also grow okra, also known as okros, where I live. And again, okros, they don't necessarily grow as big plants, but they still do grow pretty big. So you want to have it in a lighted room. Now, you don't want that room lit all the time. You want to kind of emulate the day. So in the daytime, you switch on the light, or you have the light automatically turn on because it detects daylight. Maybe it's a room where you have a room where you have you have a view of this of outside because it's light is coming in. So daytime, so the light will switch on in the day. Nighttime it will switch. No, sorry, it will switch off. It will switch on in the night. Oh, that's bad. But you don't want the light in the plants all the time. Plants get bigger and nicer the more light and daylight they get because they produce more food. But you wanna be able to have them also have sleep. They need to sleep. They need to rest. So I'm just saying all of these things to let you guys know you should start planting your own food. Start making your own food. The more organic you can invest in some organic food, and then take that organic food and you plant it. Okay. Let me say a couple things about short crops. Short crops are reusable. What I mean by that is, if I plant, for example, pigeon peas, right, or lentils, I don't need to plant again for a while because when the pigeon peas grows up in a big tree or the lentils grow up to be a big kind of plant, after it's finished bearing and everything, leave the stump in the ground. So you may cut off the rest of the plant, but leave the stump in the ground, and another plant will come up from that plant, and it'll come up easier. Okay, both pigeon peas, pak choy, those you should plant pak choy in your home. All these things: okra, pak choy, tomatoes, the whole 9 yard. Oranges, You can plant orange plants. Now, orange plants, again, it depends on the moon you plant them in. There is grafting. You can graft the plants and make them small or big, but it's also what moon you plant them in. They would be a certain size. And then if you plant them in a pot, it restricts how big they get. So they will stay a certain size. And then you can use things like natural bearing salts like manure and also Epsom salts, and that will help them to bear. They start to flower and then bear. Yeah. So they don't have to be big trees. Okay. And if you have a space to do it on the side, or if you're in apartments, you could probably put the plants on the outside of the apartments. It depends what neighborhood you live in. Beautify the outside of your apartments while at the same time, you know, talk to your tenant, whatever. Or you could have them, yeah, yeah. So you can, that's the way you do it. Because people do steal trees, but they won't steal a tree that's in the ground. So maybe you could put trees on the outside. You ask your tenant, whatever, and you put it down on the outside if you have places. And even in a pot, I wouldn't suggest in a pot. You put it in the ground. Right. Lemons, the same thing, and so on. So you can plant just about any tree. Now, let me give you all one more thing, and then I'm out of here, okay? Because I've been doing planting now for about, I started 3 years ago. So when the pandemic began, and I've been planting, I think just before the pandemic, just after my mother died, I started really planting. And I got to go outside and tend to the plants right now. But point is, um, when you're dealing with plants, you can do a lot of plants in pots. You can grow all kinds of crops in pots. Okay. Um, I was going to say something else, but I can't remember what it is. But suffice it to say, you can grow plants indoors. If you have decorated plants indoors already, then you, instead of using decorated plants, plant plants for food. Now I'm gonna tell you all something. If you don't have to depend on other people to get food, because you will save so much money, because a lot of money is spent on food. Okay. Now let me give you the things that you need to be able to make a meal. You always need something like a rice, bread, you know, or some kind of provision like potatoes. That's what you need, right? Now, if farmers can grow potatoes, why can't you? Okay, if farmers can grow rice, why can't you? If farmers can grow peas, why can't you? So you do that. You can't farm livestock in an apartment. I mean, you could grow your chicken if you want, but you gotta be careful because chickens like to run. You know, and you don't want no chicken that just sit down whole day. You want a chicken that, he's sprightly. You want his muscles to work. You want him to run, and you don't want no white chicken either. You want a chicken. You want a chicken that have color in it. Like a rooster. Right? You want a healthy chicken. Chickens like all kinds of things. They like worms and ants and all kinds of things. They peck the ground, and then they have feed. They eat all kinds of things. So, but I wouldn't advise you. There's certain animals you can grow like rabbits. You might be able to grow rabbits just like how you have guinea pigs and stuff. You might be able to grow rabbits in an apartment. You have them in a little cage, a relatively spacey cage. They multiply really quickly. You have to be able to take care of them well, otherwise they will die on you. But rabbits, it's a very good business, whether it's for pets or for food. People love rabbit meat. They eat rabbits, and they also will buy rabbits. Okay, so I'm just showing you guys how you can save money for yourself. You can also make money off of this thing. Maybe small scale. You go to the local grocery store shop and you sell them some of your produce that's fresh. If you're making enough, it's a science. If you go in a room, it's all about how to conserve space. You don't want to. You don't want to. You don't want to. Uh, you know. You don't want to take up too much space. So maybe you have shelves or whatever, and you put your plants on them. My point anyway is this: where there's a will, there's a way, and you can help yourself out in the grocery by Not having to buy certain things because you grow them yourself. Take the power and put it in your hands, y'all. All right, I'm gonna catch y'all guys later. I just throw a little tip to you guys. That's just something I do on the side. I'm gonna catch you guys later on what you need. Peace. And remember, it's all about doing. So if you not doing it, you could say what do you want to say. I watch what people do. I don't watch what they say. So it's about doing. Don't wander off into all these other intellectual kind of knowledgeable things. You're just wandering off on that, but you ain't doing nothing. You ain't helping people become stronger in their belief. I focus on David Benavidez because he's a doing guy. He ain't just chit chatting. He not just blah 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 with his mouth. He want to do something. He's a man of action. Same thing with Devin Haney. So we'll see. That's why I like boxing. That's why I like boxing. I'm gonna catch you guys later. I'm what you need. Peace.